My name is Olivia Weaver. My highest ranking is world number 4, and I'm from Philadelphia. When I first started playing squash, I was 5 years old. I was sports obsessed. My mom could not get me to play with a doll if she tried. I just wanted to play any sport I could get my hands on. And I grew up down the street from the Philadelphia Cricket Club, and they just had a booming junior program. And I think we had a few friends that had signed up their kids and pretty much instantly hooked. I had a very big sweet tooth as well, and the way that the pros ran the program, the more targets you hit at first, the more candy you got at the end. So that was my initial motivation, but fortunately I'm no longer playing for candy. Playing at Princeton was an incredible experience. I think it was also really challenging in many ways. I was injured for majority of my career, and so there was definitely a period of time I had chronic back pain, and so I was just in pain 24/7. Really wasn't addressing the injuries, I think, in the way that I would address an injury now, but fortunately was able to get healthy after my junior year, and when I was finally healthy, playing pain-free senior year, that was, I think, the biggest reason why I felt like, okay, I've got to give the Pro Tour a go, because it just made me realize how much I love the game and how much, I just enjoyed playing. Having been injured and not able to play for so long, it made me, I missed it. Playing that first day pain-free felt like Christmas morning, and I was like, I just want to really, really see how good I can be when I give this 100%, which I had never done. I mean, I was always up there in the rankings in the juniors and played for the US junior team, but never really gave it 110%. I would say I always took pride in having a very balanced life, and so I wanted to see how good I could be. But playing at Princeton was incredible. To this day, that my teammates are some of my closest friends, and I think it really, I don't think I would have had the maturity to go pro and do it properly at the age of 18. So there was a lot of growth and maturing that needed to happen in those 4 years, and definitely an appreciation for the sport and my understanding of how much I really love it. Some of my mental toughness maybe comes from having a big brother who gave me a hard time growing up, so I felt like I had no choice but to develop a thick skin. But no, I think I was always a very laid-back character in juniors. I actually remember a lot of the time my coaches were being like, can you please try a little harder and get fired up or act like you want to win? Because I was just very laid back. Some might use the word lazy, or gave off lazy vibes. It was funny because I was just always playing as a junior just because I loved the game, and I was actually nervous, I think, when I first decided to go pro, that when it became my full-time job, I was going to stop enjoying it. But I think once you start putting in the really hard hours and all of that hard work, I think that grit on court started to come out of me a lot more organically when I turned pro. But I think that my ability to kind of stay calm and trust myself on court really just comes down to the coaches that I'm surrounded by. My coaches are constantly pushing me on court and throwing obstacles my way, throwing challenges my way to see how I mentally react. And so it's never just like a straightforward, easy practice. I'm trying to challenge myself as much as I can in practice, so that when I get out on that court, I know that anything can happen, and I'll have the toolkit to address it and hopefully weather whatever it is. Yeah, my family and friends are everything to me. They completely just shaped who I am as a human being, and I think one of the reasons why I've been able to play this game for so long and enjoy it as much as I have is because I know at the end of the day, win or lose, I have their support and their love and have incredible relationships that have grounded me. And without that, I feel like there'd be a lot more pressure on results and achievements and just focusing on accolades and all of that. But at the end of the day, when I'm with them, I'm not Olivia Weaver, the squash player. I'm just Liv, or whatever they call me. There are many nicknames. But yeah, just it's huge being able to come back from a tournament and just look forward to being surrounded by people that you love, people you enjoy being with. And yeah, they just always, they're never focused on results. They just see how hard that I work and constantly tell me they're proud of me and they're there win or lose. And I think having that support system is essential to doing well in competitive sport. Being married has been wonderful, I would say. Marrying my husband is definitely the best decision I've ever made, and then I think going pro is probably close, maybe, yeah, right behind there. But my husband, Bobby, he was actually one of the few people when I was on the fence about whether or not to go pro and I graduated. He could have said, oh, go move to New York, be down the street from me after we had just done long distance, and he could have encouraged me to just do what everyone else was doing and get, an 8 to 6 job. But he was like, you're gonna regret this one day if you don't give it a shot and see how good you can be. So from day one, he's just been my biggest supporter, so encouraging. There's so many days that people don't see that are really hard where you doubt yourself, and he's just the first person in my ear encouraging me, lifting me up. And yeah, it's just, I think since we've been married, it's been really hard because I feel like the calendar's only gotten busier. I've now started working with Rod Martin, so that means a little bit even more time away from Philadelphia where we live. But he's just like my rock and has been so supportive, and he just wants to see me feel like whenever this all ends, I can look back and say that I did everything I could to be the best player that I could be. And yeah, I could not do any of this without him by my side. So I'm very grateful for him and just who he is and the person that he makes me. I don't have one specific athlete that was like my number one that I looked up to when I first started playing squash. I mean, now having played, there are certainly a lot of professional players that I admire. I always had so much respect for Renee Melwalili, the way she carried herself, the way she played the game. Nicole David as well, just because I wasn't this fiery, gritty, mean player that sometimes my coaches were encouraging me to be. I'd always point to Nicole David. I'd be like, well, she's not like mean or fiery or gritty, and she's barely been beaten in 8 years. So I've developed a really close relationship with Laura Massaro and am so inspired by her story and everything she did in her career. I think we're similar in the sense that people didn't necessarily expect a whole lot from us when we first went pro. And I mean, she obviously is world champion, British Open champion, and I don't think many people would have put their money on her to do that when she first went pro. So she's been a huge inspiration and mentor to me. I think what makes squash so unique is, one, you have two very physical athletes moving at full speed in a very small space and having to navigate around each other. So that leads to often a very entertaining and challenging spectacle. What also is incredible about squash is just that there's not one correct way to play it. You see so many different styles of play, you see so many different body types. I truly feel like every single match in my career, one match is never exactly the same as the other. We're constantly all changing our games, evolving, reacting to what our opponent's doing. Like anything can happen out there. And it's also just things happen so quickly. We all have to be so tuned in for every single moment. And it almost feels like every single rally is just crucial. Proudest achievement in my career so far. It's hard to put my finger on one. I remember one of my first breakthrough wins was in Cincinnati, and I think it was 2023. That was my first silver win, and I remember just being in shock when I won. Like, it was just this moment of accomplishing something that I don't know if I really believed was possible at the moment, and that was an incredible, I think, pivotal moment in my career, just in terms of self-belief and what was possible. Winning the gold medal at the Pan American Games was really special. It was a week after I had just gotten married. I had just made a huge shift to working with Rod Martin the summer before, put in a ton of really hard work, and had really taken myself outside of my comfort zone, and wasn't entirely, I was confident, like I was my fittest ever, but when you make a huge change like that, you're not always sure what's gonna happen. And I think that was a moment where I started to realize that the risk I took in making a change was gonna pay off. And so that was really a proud moment, and obviously representing my country that week as well for the first time at the Pan American Games was a huge honor. Additionally, I would just say, looking back at this year, kind of seeing the consistency in which I performed and making it to the semifinals of every event I played in is something I'm really proud of, and something I kind of point to the work that I've done with my team, and something we're always working towards is just really being hard to beat.
Yeah, she's too good from the Americans, some classy stuff. She's lovely to watch when she's playing like this.
Oh, that's the 1-2, that's the traditional pattern. Trademark Olivia Weaver through Rodney Martin.
Weaver has answers for everything.
She's physically outstanding, not going to get tired.
Storming off the court with a real pep in her step now, Weaver.
There's the head shot, so the All-Stars making a move now.
I think over the course of my career, when it's all over, I just really want to look back and feel like I got the best out of myself. With that, I hope that leads to being world #1, world champion, and the best players to ever play the game.
I always wanted to be remembered for the person that I am, and if that I'm a good person. It's really important to be remembered the person you are than being the best player in the world. So I really care that the last day of my career, everyone will remember me as a good person.
Let me tell you how it goes, I know